Hello everyone, let's go through the installation of React Native on iOS on a Mac. So this is another on-the-fly presentation. So all I'm going to do is read the instructions and walk us through what exactly what the instructions say and try to figure out any hiccups that we encounter along the way, see how to resolve those. And if everything goes perfectly, we shouldn't have any issues and just do exactly what the instructions tell us to do. So on their main web page, we have our instructions, and we have to choose whether we want iOS or Android or Mac OS, Linux or Windows. So if we're doing iOS, we have to be on a Mac. And it's going to tell us we need some dependencies. I'm going to skip right to where it says we recommend installing Homebrew. So I'm going to do exactly what they say. I'm not going to second guess it. And installing Homebrew just means you copy and paste this command and you put it inside the terminal, copy and paste, and you run it. I think I already have a copy of this installed, so it should work for me. Let's see, put your password if you have a system password on your computer, and it's just going to install a bunch of files to wherever that happens. Great. If you didn't install it previously, a fresh install might take a few minutes, but it was quick for me because I already had it installed. What's the next step? Okay, now we are going to run some commands, and we are going to use the brew command to install. Let's see. First, we're going to install Node, and this is going to install Node.js. Okay, I did the install for Node, and I already had it installed. But if you probably do have it already installed, but I would suggest you still do the brew install Node just in case. We don't want to leave any steps out. So let's do the next command they want, which is install Watchman. And this is just a tool for, well, as it says right here, watching changes in the file system. This is just so you can change your code files and then have things update as soon as you change your code files without having to refresh things. Okay, we run into our first issue already. You must brew link PCRE before Watchman can be installed. Okay, I don't even have any clue what that means, so let's Google it. It says by design, brew requires local to be owned by you. You can fix this by blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it seems like we have to have permissions to some directory before we can do this. Let's try this out. Okay, tried this issue, or tried this resolution to the issue, and it worked. First I did this command, put in my username here, ran this command, and then did this command, install Watchman. And it looked like it worked, no issues. Great, let's move on to the next thing. We need the command line interface, so Node comes with the NPM manager, the Node package manager. So I guess the React command line interface is a Node package. So all we have to do is install this thing globally. And we'll just run the normal npm install command with a global flag. All right, that installed without any problems. It says that if you get an error, something, we could do this, had no problems, so lucky us. So next we have to install Xcode, which is the Mac, the OSX IDE code editor and code platform for Macs, and usually you have it installed, but if you don't, you can just install it through the App Store. So if I go to command space and I say Xcode, I already have it. Maybe I can update it I should probably check whether it's updated to the latest version, probably. So let me check that, I guess. So let me click on this link to the Mac or the App Store. Let's see what it says. Okay, view in the Mac App Store. That's going to open the actual software on my computer. And let's see, if I go to my Xcode, I think I have version 7 point something. Open Xcode. And if I go about Xcode, you may have this installed already, you may not. Version 7.3. So, and the latest one is 8.2. So I think I will update. So I'm going to either you would install it fresh or do an update. Okay, and then we want to test your React Native installation. So we're going to actually build the project files to start up our app. And let's see. So the first thing you always do is you say, I need to have a folder where I'm going to put all my projects. So if we just have a folder called projects, maybe, you are going to open up the terminal to that. And then we are going to execute the commands that through the React command line interface. I'm going to say first React Native app. And it's going to build a bunch of files needed for a React Native project. Okay, that took about 5 minutes. So it installed quite a bit of stuff. If we look back at our folder, we can look at the node modules folder, and you can see a ton of stuff in there. Okay, so now it says let us cd into that directory, first React Native app, and then let's do a React Native run iOS. Let's see what happens. All right, that took forever. So whenever you're dealing with emulators, the first time you bring them up, it takes a long time, especially if your computer's old like mine and not as updated or fast as it possibly could be. So if we look at our emulator, you can kind of see the interface of the phone with some text. And if we look in our project folder, right under the main, at the root directory, we'll see this index.ios.js file. And that file is the entry point to the app. So if we open that in a text editor, we can see something that looks very similar to what we might be familiar with normal React. So creating a component, we're putting some what looks like HTML markup inside, mixed in with JavaScript. And it says, to get started, edit this, and then hit Command R to reload. So let's try that. I have edited. Let's save it. And we'll do a Command R once we're focused on the emulator. So if I bring up the terminal, which should still be going, let me try that again. Command R, there we go. Okay, so it's rebuilding everything, and it puts it back into the emulator, and it says, I have edited. Okay, so we have successfully installed React Native, and we've got the code running and have it up in a emulator, and we are able to modify code and have it be realized and updated in the emulator. Okay, so now we are ready to actually build some type of useful app in our next video.